and we're here to bring you another one of our fortnightly weekly challenge chats. So thanks for joining us, and we wish everyone who celebrates Easter a very happy Easter.
Yes.
And whatever else you're celebrating this weekend, may it be a good one.
Yes.
So we're going to go through what's happening at the moment for some of the challenges in cross stitch that are happening that you can do on a weekly or fortnightly level. And you can stitch along or join the groups, except for the first one, which is closed, which is the daily 30. So you'll have to just stitch along for this one. All right, we've got 2 weeks to look at. What have we got, Laurie?
So the oldest event that's up was a Mary Poppins Week. It started April 8th and it runs through April 22nd. The stitch counts for this week are 300 stitches or 3 hours for 4 tokens, 400 stitches or 4 hours for 6 tokens. And the first prompt is pull something out of your carpet bag and tell me how your chosen whip relates to it. And the example is Mary Poppins pulls out things from her bag. What's in your bag? So it's really your bag, not Mary Poppins' bag.
Yeah. Well, my bag always had lots of presents in it. Lots of little beautifully wrapped boxes ready to give as a gift to anyone who I might need to give one to. So presents for me with tiny tidings from Lizzie Kate.
There you go. You're really prepared. So I had a harder time with this, a really hard time. So I'm going to show my whip list. So we're going to do a whip list thing.
Fine. That's what we're here for. Show you how we think.
Yes. So I have a lot of things with no things, like a lot of whips with no things, like papers and such.
You could pull flowers.
I could pull flowers. I want to focus on Get Cracking potentially, so I'm not sure if
zoom that in. No, zoom in on Kraken for me.
Absolutely.
No, it's a little plus sign at the top. Yep, if you hit that, let me have a look.
There's a crown.
Yeah, well, you could pull a crown out of your bag, definitely.
Okay, that's what I'll do then.
Possibly also do a bottle of water from all the waves.
Oh, you know what else? Okay. I also want to focus on Dreaming of Climpton. She has earrings.
Well, you definitely could have earrings. Or she's wearing a nice bandana around her hair.
Yeah, that would work too.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. We've got a lot of good ideas for that.
Team effort. And remember, people, if you ever need help, just reach out to us or jump on Zoom with friends, and usually someone has an idea for you.
Yes, absolutely. Prompt number 2, stitch on a whip that has something that is charted as it exists in real life. Or it's very cartoonish. So either really realistic or really cartoonish.
So I was working on these ones last week. So they're very cartoonish.
Got it. So I just showed Dreaming of Clamped. And that one to me is whimsical, so kind of cartoonish, but kind of realistic in that, you know, girl with hair and she's eyes closed. I mean, the girl's face isn't too cartoonish, so it could be realistic, but I think it's the whimsical nature makes it a little.
Do you know what I'd pick for realistic? And you've got the same one.
Yes.
That would be
Mexico. You trying to get me to work on that old one.
I went easy.
Yeah. Okay. Prompt number 3, stitch on a whip that contains something you would find at a tea party.
Okay, I haven't actually done this one yet. And I'm really undecided about it. But I'm guessing probably have to stick to this one for the cup of coffee.
Yeah, that works.
It would work, but I don't know if I want to work on that one. I'm seeing if there's anything in Cozy Cove at a tea party. Well,
people.
I was going to say people. Yeah. People at a tea party. I could do that one.
Yes. And so I am doing Dreaming of Clamped because there is a girl in a fancy shirt and you typically dress a little nice for tea parties.
Yes.
Okay, prompt number 4, stitch on a whip that is from a designer that you have more than one active whip of.
I actually have 3 active Charles Wysocki pieces from DownUnderDivas Gold. I'm not really sure who you credit as the designer for these, but it's the brand and the artist, so I figure that works.
Yes, that is true. For me, I have Cirque du Circles by Ink Circles and Get Crackin'. So I will stitch on Get Crackin'. Let me show those really quickly in my whip list. So I have Cirque du Circles here, and I have Get Crackin' right underneath it, right there.
Lovely. And for that one, I would say you probably need to show a picture of the design and your stitching on the other designs to get it counted, if you want to make sure that you don't get missing out on their very strict marking.
Yes, correct. Thank you for that, Lisa.
All right.
Prompt number 5, stitch on a whip that has something that flies.
Okay, there's a hummingbird in the middle of my bookshelf. And since my bookshelf is no longer being used as a daily 30 for me, because I haven't bothered to do it as a daily 30, but I do want to show you where it's up to, just because we're not talking about the daily 30 for it anymore. But there you go, that's where it's up to. That's all of March done, and getting started on April.
Nice. That's really admirable that you're keeping up with that. Those things are hard to keep up with.
You guys are holding me to it. I'm going to try and use it for a weekly prompt once a fortnight. That's enough stitches to get me through, and then you guys will be able to keep me accountable by me showing it on here every fortnight.
That sounds like a plan. For me, it is Get Crackin' because I am trying to focus. But something that flies, there's a few things that fly. Of course, the birds, but flags fly.
True, they do.
So yeah, inanimate things work there too. So prompt number 6 is the Sal bonus. No, it's not.
Oh, there's
it's a bonus. Watch the film and stitch on a whip of choice. So have a picture of Mary Poppins playing in the background. They did not say it had to be the new one or the old one. Either one would work. And stitch on anything of your choice and get those bonus 5 tokens. Now the Sal is prompt number 7. For 10 tokens, stitch 300 stitches on the Sal of your choice. Be sure to post a hashtag or a photo, like a screenshot of your Facebook Sal.
I belong to the Cross Stitch Nation,
and
I've got 1.5 people to go.
Yes.
So it's coming on very well.
Very nice.
This is my favorite prompt, being able to just, keep you on track with a Sal.
Yes, I love it too. I am going to share my Facebook post so you can see how it's done. So I posted a picture of my Sal from the Facebook group, and then I'm doing the Gnome of the Year, February gnome for this one. And those are my progress shots. I'm filling in the hat. So there you go.
Nice and clear.
Yep. And that's it for Mary Poppins week. Do you want to go to the next daily 30 week, or do you want to
daily 30? Let's go to the next one.
Okay. The next week just came out, One Whip Wonder. And this is so exciting because that's kind of what my strategy has been this year, is trying to get, some focus work done on a whip. So the stitch count, this event runs from April 15th through April 29th. And the stitch counts for this week are very generous. 100 stitches or 1 hour for 2 tokens, 200 stitches or 2 hours for 4 tokens. And let's see what we have. The first prompt is stitch on a whip with alphabet or words.
Okay, so before I tell you my answer to that, I need help because I'm trying to see if I can fit all mine in to get the bonus. So you get 10 bonus tokens if you do all 5 prompts in the one piece.
Mhm.
So I'm undecided. That the thing that's getting me is I didn't get the weekly free pass last month. So I can't eradicate one of these choices. So I don't know. It depends on, for me, it's whether I can do the floss. I'm thinking about doing my All Hallows Eve because it's got alphabet on it.
Yeah. And it looks like it's going to. I see what you mean about the floss. Well,
Depends what it's
you want to
charted.
go through all the prompts and let's
Yeah.
see if we can do them instead of individually?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
First prompt is stitch on a whip with alphabet or words. Second prompt, stitch on a whip with a person or animal. Third prompt, stitch on a whip with a building. Fourth prompt, stitch on a whip with something you would find outside that is not man-made.
For example, a tree.
Yes. Stitch on a whip that uses more than one brand of floss, DMC Weeks or Gentle Arts or, what have you, or silks.
So I have to look at what it's charted in because I haven't got my chart right here. But obviously that would be DMC black, or I would use CXC, but I'm actually using a Silks for You. But it depends on what's charted for the yellow. If it's charted in another DMC, it won't be useful because you've got to show a picture of what it's charted in. My next thought then was Grandfather's Barn. So I think I could also do Grandfather's Barn because there's it's a building. I don't know if it's a house. Do you think they'd accept the barn as a house?
Yes, it says building. So
okay, building, good. So it's got plants, it's got a building, it's got people, it's got animals, and it's got words. But again, I think it's all just one type of floss. So then my next choice, oh, where'd you go? Disappeared. My next choice would be maybe to go back to Kringles from last month. Because Kringles is definitely using more than one type of floss. There's a building, there's people and animals, there's trees. I think that's all of them. There's words, yes. Kringles. So I may have to go back to Kringles depending on where I am.
That's good. So for me, it would be Get Cracking because all of this applies. There's these little structures, and let me share this because I need your opinion. So these little structures here that are like, I consider that a building.
If it's one of those stone mausoleums where like a crypt, then it would. Yep, that's a building.
Okay. Yeah. Things that you would see outside. There's a tree here. There's definitely, I'm sorry?
Birds.
Yeah, birds. Yeah. So I think I have everything. And of course there's animals, there's bird and things like that. And technically a bird is an animal, but you would also find a bird outside.
Yes. And you've also got a kraken, which is an animal.
Ah, true that. True that. And little fishy right here, little thingy. So yeah, I think that works. And the only thing is mostly charted in Gloriana, but I think there might be one thing that's not. So I would just again have to verify on the floss list because the rules specify that more than one brand is charted and they want you to show the designer's thread list,
not what you
decided. Yeah. So the rest of One Wonder is what you would expect. Prompt number 6 is the SAL prompt for 10 token stitch, 300 stitches on the SAL of your choice. And then number 7 is the daily 30. Since this event just came out, you still have time to complete the daily 30, which is 30 minutes a day for 5 days. That ends on April 22nd, and you have to complete all 5 days to get tokens for the prompt, which is 5 tokens. You can't just stitch on day 1 and expect to get 1 token for that one day. You have to complete all 5 days. You don't have to get the bonus for using one whip for all of these prompts. You can still do alternate stitches. I believe you could still do build a challenge. You just won't get that bonus of using one whip.
But it's a nice bonus, and since we're fairly much trying to work on 1 or 2 whips at a time at the moment in our personal lives, it's perfect.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like, it's really matter of me studying those thread ones, because if I'd had the free pass, it would have been 100% no worries, just do whichever one I feel like.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Laurie. So the next one we always look at is Mythological Stitchers. And Mythological Stitchers for this week is looking at the mystery of Ostara and the Easter Bunny. A lot of Easter things. This is at least 100 stitches per prompt. And if you have a project that features a rabbit, you can use it instead of a prompt and stitch 200 stitches. So like a substitute rather than penalty stitches. Number 1, stitch on something that is a mystery, such as a mystery cell or depicting something hidden or mysterious.
Well, I have an idea. Okay, trying to focus and double dip, dreaming of Klimt. She's dreaming. It is a mystery of what she's dreaming about or what she's thinking. And what are these squiggles? And what are those boxes?
Yes,
that is a mystery.
It's a mystery. What the hell's growing out of her hair or the mountain?
Yes.
I don't have much I can apply to mystery, but probably Santa Claus. I mean, he's not much of a mystery. We know all about him, but there's still a little bit of an air of mystery about him. All right. Stitch on a religious themed project or one featuring a fancy lady. You're dreaming of Klimt is a fancy lady.
I think so.
I think that's about as close as you're going to get. And I would be really pushing the barrel here. What about the Wiccan religion? Does that count as a religion?
These days, I think you could get away with that.
So that would be my only hope for the moment.
Yes.
A project that has a fairy tale theme or a spring theme.
I have flower whips, but I don't really have anything springy. So I think I would pass on that.
That's okay. I reckon I could pretend grandfather's barn is doing things in the spring. They look like spring sort of trees, collecting berries and things in the spring. I don't know. That's the best I can do for it too. Just a bit of interesting trivia for you here. According to some sources, the Easter Bunny first arrived in America in the 1700s with German immigrants who settled in Pennsylvania. And they transported their tradition of egg laying here called Osterhaus. So stitch number 4 is to stitch on a project that includes eggs or birds. You've got plenty of birds in your Kraken.
Correct.
And I would either do my All Hallows Eve for the birds, or I could double dip with the bird that's in there. Yes. Plus there's an egg up the top too, look.
Oh, look at there. Yeah.
So there's lots of things in my bookshelf. And lucky last, stitch on a project with a basket, sweets, or a nest.
I have a basket, and I actually need to stitch on this whip. So, language of flowers. Let me see if I can get it big. There we go. Has a basket.
Oh, it does.
That would be definitely a basket down there. The rest are like urns. Yeah.
Could you put up Cozy Cove for me, please?
Absolutely.
I need to zoom in, and your screen's going to do it much better. Can you zoom in around the people? Is that a basket?
It's a basket of flowers right there by the, I would say that's a basket of flowers.
Well, there you go. There's my basket. That's what I was checking, if it was a pot or a basket, but it looks like a basket leaning against the pole.
I think so.
I think they'd have to have good eyesight to argue with me.
Yes.
So that is what we've got happening for the Mythological Stitchers.
Okay.
Now, I want to talk very quickly about another group that I've mentioned before and I haven't done a lot with yet, but they are doing some great prompts, and that is the DownUnderDivas. And that is run by a group of girls in Australia, and their monthlies are huge, which is why we weren't doing much with them. But their weekly/fortnightly prompts are really quite good. So this fortnight, the event is Easter. So there's lots of Easter themed whips happening. You can choose whether you do 100, 200 or 300 stitches per prompt, and you can do hourly stitches instead of that. So if you can't stitch in it, they give you a penalty of stitching in a particular color, which is interesting. All right, we've got to find Easter eggs in the pin post, and you've got to post the pictures in your comments and work on a project you can tie into the egg. So for example, if you choose a cherry ripe egg, you could stitch in red a piece with a cherry or a piece with a coconut. And if not, you can do the penalty stitches, which represent the colors of chocolate. And if you have a favorite Easter egg that's not listed, you can choose to do that too. Just post a picture of it. So that's quite a fun one to work on. This is the sort of give you the idea of the eggs. They're all Australian Easter eggs. So really cool. Yes. So really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you might want to check that out. DownUnderDivas, as far as I know, it is still accepting new members. What else have we got happening at the moment, Laurie?
There are Easter egg themed challenges around in other groups. I know in Utopia, I think there is kind of like some type of Easter egg event. In Survival of the Stitchiest, there is an individual Easter egg hunt. And so instead of hunting a beastie this week, we're going to hunt Easter eggs. And it's an individual build challenge where, 100 stitches gets you one thing, 200 stitches gets you the next thing. And you can bulk stitch. So you can stitch, in 1,000 stitch or 500 stitch increments and claim multiple things. But that's something to do.
Yeah.
A reason to stitch.
And it's nice to have one of those individual builder challenges again. We haven't had one of them for a while. The one in Utopia is particularly fun if you like hunting for things. They've hidden pictures of eggs around the site, and you've got to actually find the picture and then do a number of stitches to earn it, and it will get some sort of a reward. Hell's Stitching is another one that I have just been conned into, and we are actually doing a group event this week where we are cooking a humongous omelette like they do in France. So we are combining a lot of stitches we had to get all the ingredients and make the omelette. Now we're cooking the omelette. So lots and lots of fun Easter things. There's a pop-up happening in the No New Starts group on the road trip. And it is a pop-up where you can stitch on one project only for the weekend. The duration time of a couple of days, it's specified when exactly, but it's in your time zone. It's one that we've returned to our old your time zone thing. So it started at 5 o'clock Easter Thursday, and I imagine it goes till 5 o'clock Easter Sunday from memory. And you stitch on one piece, much as you want, and that's going to convert into money on your debit card, which will become useful going forward. And I've had lots of people trying to get answers out of me about what's happening with the debit card. And all I will say is that you will want to have a couple of 100 stitches on there. There are plans to use these stitches. The whole point of the debit card was your excess stitching. So when you stitch over something, it doesn't go to waste. There are things coming up where you might want it. So stitch as much as you want. If you're sick of stitching on the one project, then end off that and go back to doing your normal travel. There's no pause unless you have an overheated engine, and those people know who they are. I will also say that I did do my first sweep of putting things back on the shelf last night. You've got to remember to like your shopping post when you see it, not when you stitch it, just when you see it, so we can keep that thread clear, because it's a really busy thread and we can't cope with having things sitting there. So if your post is there for more than a day, you might find that you get a badge that says, sorry, you've just lost your Lowry stand, and whether you stitch for it or not doesn't matter. It's gone back on the shelf and you're going to have to earn it again. So please keep that thread clean.
Got it.
Any others?
Not that I'm involved in.
No.
Yes.
The sign-ups for the new So You Think You Can Stitch Great Food Truck Race, that's happening next month. You've got to sign up for that if you're interested. And apart from that, guys, lots of stitching, and I need to get to doing some. So have a great week. Bye.
Bye.